This is Vianna Marie, and you're listening to Hoobazoo.com.
My name's Dan Kiesboltz. I'm a U.S. veteran, served in the Navy.
I was an active duty Navy SEAL.
Submarine officer.
Air Force.
Marine.
I was raised as a Republican.
I've been a lifelong Republican.
Lifelong Republican.
At least I was until Donald Trump came into the picture.
He does not care about you. He does not care about this country.
That Trump doesn't care about the Constitution. He only cares about himself.
Soldiers expect their leaders to be able to do what they do, to be willing to take that risk.
When it came time for him to serve in the Vietnam War, he got 5 deferments.
Coward. We're looking at a lying draft dodger who berates those who serve our country honorably, rewards those who do not, lets them get off scot-free. People that lie to Congress. I mean, what in the hell?
My friends are still out there, and they're being targeted by the Russian Federation with paid bounties.
For these reasons, I am supporting Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
I would not consider myself liberal, but Biden is the only choice.
Country above party.
Joe Biden.
Biden. 2020. Go America.
The booth. I share my world within the booth. The booth. This is all I do within the booth. The booth. A set of headphones, one microphone, and yo, hold the phone. I'm in the booth. The booth. I share my world within the booth. The booth. This is all I do within the booth. The booth. I got one microphone, flow glitz in the zone. Yeah, I'm the load me up, lock me in. I don't care, box me in, cause the booth got me in this brand new zone. Plug me in, turn it up, blitz gon' burn it up. Might start melting down the soundproof phone. It's one way, so it's one mode. Booth on the bus whenever I'm on the road. Lock in for days and anything goes. It's been 7 days, the same clothes. Still flowing for them dudes sitting outside on the blocks in the booth, but I'm spitting outside of the box. I know where the digits at, where the lyrics at. I ain't never losing, so I ain't gotta get it back. Got commercial music, but I still know how to spit it rap. I'm like the trees on my boots, I grew from the roots. If I'm lying, I'm flying, but I'm the truth. Only one way, my mobile or roam. I'm underground in the booth. The booth. I share my world when in the booth. The booth. This is all I do when in the booth. The booth. I got a set of headphones and one microphone. And yo, hold the phone, I'm in the booth. The booth. I share my world when in the booth. The booth. This is all I do when in the booth. The booth. I got one microphone. Yeah, I'm in the zone. Yeah. Spenser's in the booth.
Was he African?
African.
No. He was American, and he was like you.
Boom, boom. All right, it's your boy Sinister One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are listening to The Booth, and it is August 25th, 2020. I've got my guest on with me already in the chat. I'm loving this because I hate to say this, but prior to COVID, when I used to have people come on this show and we used to podcast and things like that and have people come in through Skype, nobody really knew what the hell to do. But because everybody is doing Zoom meetings and all of this crap, a lot of people for the last couple of weeks that I've had on the show, they've been on point. Like, they've been on point with their Zoom. They're ready to go. Because usually I tell people the show starts at 7. I tell them to come in around 6:45. That way at 6:45, if your sound ain't right, if your video ain't right, we can work on it. We can get it all done. And then by 7 o'clock, we should be good to roll. But lately, the last couple of weeks, everybody that I've had on, they've had to sit here and bump their heads to the music I'm rocking because they're coming in at 6:45 and they're ready to go because they've been doing Zoom meetings for work, getting their stuff all ready. People got their special Zoom mugs sitting there with them, and we're ready to go. So we got a ton of people in the chat too. Christopher Turner is already saying hello to my guest Sienna. Felicia Damon, she's in the chat. Paul Forrest is in the chat. Peter Stevens in the chat. Tyrone Washington's in the chat. Gilles St. Jacques in the chat. D. Wood is in the chat. Vianna Marie's in the chat. All y'all in the chat ready to go. Have me all amped up. And what I'm gonna do here is I gotta get this straight and get this ready to go because we got a lot of stuff to talk about here. Topics for the night. First of all, I got to thank Michelle Dubois, State Rep, for coming on the show last week. She came on this show last week, held it down, actually called her opponent out on this show live, and he actually backed out of some of the debates that he was supposed to be on, and it's kind of funny that it happened after she was on this show, so it's kind of funny too. Also, we've had this on the show, we talked about it on the show, I've been sharing it on Facebook, and today Mr. Jack Lally showed up at my house today to drop off pamphlets, him himself. I'm wondering if he was coming to talk to me and maybe try to get on this show. It's a welcome. You can come on anytime. Come on this show anytime. Billy Halston, what's going on? Welcome to the show. And we got to touch about that. My sponsor down below, Michael Douglas Barreto, MDB Electronics, as you guys can see here. He has a control company. You send in your Xbox controllers, and this guy will send them out. You know, it's like $24.99, lifetime guarantee, gets them fixed, sends them back to you within 24 hours. I've been sending all of my Xbox controllers to this guy here. So we're going to move on along too. Big shout out to my man, Rob the Beast. If you're peeping this tattoo up on the screen right now, that's the new Wolverine tattoo on my arm that I received from Rob the Beast down in Rhode Island. As you can see right here, his hat. Rhode Island Tattoo Company. Big ups to him. One hell of a tattoo. I've been dying for this tattoo for a minute. And look, I'm already ready for a friggin' another tattoo. You know what I'm saying? I'm like ready to go. Get it going. I am set. Let's do this. I'm ready to do this. Also, before I get into my guests, I got this other thing here I want to talk about, guys, right here. Coolest story. The coolest story right now is that my oldest son is actually moved out of the house, and he's moved in. He's actually moved down to Mattapoisett. It's kind of upset me and happy at the same time. That's my son Tyreek. I love him. I want to say props to you. But to be honest, that is my coolest story for today. So I got to give my coolest story cue for you guys.
That's the coolest story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again? Do you have time?
Coolest story of the week, my son, Tyreek Hayes. Big ups to him. I am so happy of him doing what he's got to do. And I'm proud. I'm so proud. Proud. Let me get this up here. As I was talking about Michelle Dubois being on this show. And I'm going to pull this up here because I'm working with, boom, Michelle Dubois. That's the debates that she was at that Jack Lally did not show up for. As you can see, Kevin Tocci there. This was held by Brockton Cable Access. And I don't know. He hasn't pulled out of the race yet, but I do know that he did not show up for those two debates. It's not a good look for him. Let's see what's going on. Also in the Brockton news booth, I got to bring this picture up here and get this going here. We have, and I'm not sure, Sienna, if you're familiar with this story, if you might want to chime in. Prayers are going out during this tough time to a Elder Fernandes. If you guys are not familiar with this story, Elder Fernandes had actually filed a sexual assault complaint while down at Fort Hood, and Elder Fernandes is now missing. There's now a candlelight vigil going on right now here in Brockton for Elder Fernandes, and my guest Senna Crawford is here. I don't know if she wanted to speak on this. This is not a good story. Like I said, this person was down stationed at Fort Hood. A soldier reported sexual abuse just a week ago. And the last time, I hate to say this, the last time that this happened, that person was also found. There was a loss of life. So it's tough for us right now to try to think, be in the best mind for this situation. I'm going to let Sienna, do you want to comment on this one real quick?
Sure. It's actually Shauna. So
okay, Sienna.
But it's tragic. It's tragic that a man goes in to serve our country and goes missing in the military, can't find him. And not only is this the first or even maybe the second, but there's probably numerous cases of this. And these poor families that struggle not knowing where their kids are when they went to like protect our country and serve, which should be the most protected people, I feel.
Right. Yep. And it's tough because, you know, there's not many answers. The military is not going to give up many answers to your questions because everything is so guarded. So again, I know Felicia is actually in the chat. Paul Forrest is in the chat. He's saying Fort White pointed hood. Oh man, that's a tough one. Paul, look, Paul, I don't know much about Fort Hood, but you know, there's a lot of people already was saying this stuff. Christopher Turner, what's going on? Felicia Damon is actually saying 7 p.m. City Hall is the prayer vigil tonight for Elder Fernandes. So if you want to make it down there and kind of skip out on the show, you want to head down there and check it out. Okay. Moving on. Not many politicians do this, man. Not many at all. And it hit me at home. Mr. Kennedy actually came to several MBTA garages on the overnight shift. He's actually challenging Senator Ed Markey for his seat, for the Senate seat for Massachusetts. Kennedy went around to a couple of MBTA garages and visited the local 264 union on the overnight shift. That's the forgotten shift. Not many people visit the midnight shift. And when you're a politician, you take your time out to visit the overnight shift. You're going to kind of get my vote. You're recognizing a shift that a lot of people work. One of the things that happens on the midnight shift, the divorce rate is very high because you're not home at night, you're not sleeping with your boo, and it is tough. It is a tough situation. So, Kennedy, good looks for you. I am so glad that you visited these guys, and I'm going to move along here. Moving on, and I'm going to have Shauna also talk about this with me. On this show, 6 days ago, I actually had mentioned on this show's website and kind of hinted at the flu vaccine. Oh, Friday night. Thank you guys for correcting me. Friday night, 7 p.m. is the prayer vigil for Elder Fernandes. Friday night, 7 p.m. is the prayer vigil. They've just posted it in the chat. Friday night, 7 p.m. So if you guys can make it out, that would be a great thing. City Hall, 7 p.m. prayer vigil. 6 days ago, I actually had posted the flu vaccine was going to be mandatory in the state of Massachusetts, and I had posted that it would probably be for kids first, and then it would be for elderly, and then anybody 55 or older if you have any pre-existing conditions. A lot of people hit me up, and it was like, oh, man, why are you trying to start? You don't know this, you don't know that, and then 6 days later, it was announced. So, again, I just want to tell everybody, if you're listening to this show right now, way ahead of you guys. We're way ahead of everybody on this internet. So if you want to come down here and talk with me about something, you better be on point because we're ahead of the curve on this show. Paul Forrest, a good guy, he can tell you this in this show. He can tell you how far ahead we are in this show, and I love it, and it's great stuff. What are your thoughts on that, Shauna?
I believe, and once again, just my opinion, because my opinion is not shared with everybody else. I believe it's a good idea. I think that children with COVID and the flu, if they are to get both of these this year and bring them home to elderly parents or sick households, it's going to be a catastrophe.
And that's one of the reasons kind of why they're doing. A lot of people are upset because one of the reasons is that a lot of schools are remote learning, but the problem is just that first half of the year is remote learning. Eventually, these kids will be going to school, so they just want to make sure by the time they go back to school within second and third term, which is the winter, that's outright flu season. So I kind of understand why, but a lot of people are against it. They're saying, again, our rights are taken away, and you know what? It's a tough one because, like I said, when I put that question out there and posed it, you know, I was torn. So both my kids are older. I don't have to worry about that. So we'll have to figure it out. Moving on. News booth. If you are a fan of Airbnb and you are an investor, lock it down. Airbnb has gone public, and what has happened now with Airbnb is that they will have a stock option available for the public so you can buy stock in Airbnb. Under COVID-19 right now, Airbnb stock has grown because hotels are under crazy COVID restrictions. And because they're under crazy COVID restrictions, a lot of people are going to the Airbnbs and utilizing those as a way to, get some time away or get, because they're not falling under that whole COVID restrictions. So a lot of people are definitely utilizing Airbnb. So again, if you think you might want to try this out, go for it. I think it's something you should do. Check it out. The IPO is now available. They've gone public, and it's not that expensive. Jump on it because Airbnb could be the next big Google. So next topic to talk about in the news booth. Jesus Christ, and Shauna, you're gonna get in this with me. We have a shooting of a black man in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Jacob Blake. A black man who was shot in the back 7 times. Joan LeBeau, how's it going? Christopher Turner. And I know a lot of people are not going to be happy with what I'm about to say here in this situation, but I'm tired. I'm just tired of it all. And it's tough. And in this situation, in the time we live in right now, and the way that I was raised, the first thing I have to say in this situation, and I hate to say this because, first of all, the officers in this situation were wrong. There's no justification for shooting someone in the back 8 times. But I can understand why it happened. There's no justification for it, but I can understand how these things happen in these situations. And I know there's going to be some people mad at me with what I'm about to say. And this is to my young black men out there who are listening to the show and at the sound of my voice and everybody who's watching this chat. And it's something that my dad told me. I grew up, I was born in the 60s, and I came full force. I had racism. I grew up, I was one of the first kids bused to school in Boston. I was one of those first groups of kids that was bused, and I wasn't bused to Southie. I was bused to Brighton, where it was a lot worse because the people in Brighton were upper class, and they looked down on us. Versus going to Southie where it was middle class and middle class, blue collar worker and blue collar worker. When you get bussed out to Brighton, it's a totally different thing. It's N-word. You don't even really you're not even supposed to be here. You're not even supposed to be here. One of the things my dad taught me was that when I got a good job right out of high school, I graduated at an early age because I was double promoted. I got a good job at the MBTA really early on, and I was able to buy a nice brand new car. I bought a brand new 1994 Isuzu Rodeo at the car show. And my dad told me that, one of these things is, whenever you get pulled over, once I started driving, never give these cops a reason. And that was one of the things he always said. Never give the cops a reason. Comply. And I know a lot of people are going to say, yeah, but we're hunted right now. Black men are being shot and killed. And I get it. Trust me. I get why some black men are scared. I understand why people are doing the things they do. But for me, if I put myself in this situation with this young man in Wisconsin, and he was simply breaking up a fight between 2 females. So when the cops got this call and they get to the scene, cops have to do their job. So when you hear people say Blue Lives Matter, you don't see me pushing that. Why? Because they chose their job. Cops chose their job. So don't really come at me with this Blue Lives Matter. Because you know what? We're not rushing out here and saying military lives matter and use that excuse, well, they chose to join the military. We don't. We pay our respects. We put the flag at half-mast. So when you come at me with the Blue Lives Matter, I'm not really on it because that's the job they chose. The problem here is that they shot someone 8 times and this man is now paralyzed. The problem with me here in his situation is that he didn't comply. When these cops came, the situation is already tense due to the situation that we have in the country. It's already tense. Every call that the cop goes on, every call that's going to involve a black male is already going to be tense from the get-go. So my feeling is he had 3 of his children in the car, ages 3, 5, and 8. These cops shot him in front of his kids, in the range of his kids. The problem here is that he put himself and he put his kids in danger by walking away from these officers. And I'm sorry, but as a father, my opinion is I can't put my kids in harm's way. I don't care how mad I am. I don't care how upset I am. I can't put my kids in harm's way. Damn well knowing when cops pull up, they're already going to be suspect of you. If they tell you don't move, don't move. You got to comply. Your kids are in the car. I'm sorry, people. I get it. You're mad. You're angry. But at the end of the day, you got to comply when it involves your children and setting that example. And maybe if he just complied and let these officers do their job and just sift through everything and figure everything out, maybe he wouldn't be paralyzed right now. Maybe they would have been able to figure whatever out and he could have been on his way with his kids driving off. But we don't know. We don't know why, because he didn't comply. He walked away. He disobeyed their orders and went to his car. They don't know what he's getting. The time in this, unfortunately, the way things are in this country, these cops are working their job. They're scared. All these cops are scared. Black, white, Chinese. I don't give a crap what color they are. They're all scared right now. Black men are all scared right now, which is probably why, maybe one of the reasons why he didn't comply. But we got to be smarter. We have to think about the situation we're in right now. We have to. And as a father, I'm not going to not comply and head back to the car and then have these officers think that I'm going to get a gun. Because you don't know these days what's going down with what's happening in the streets across the country. So I get it. I know some people are going to be mad at me, but I got to speak from the heart. I'm going to let you, Shauna, say what you got to say.
So obviously, as a white person, I see this different. And not to anger anybody, but it's sickening. It's sickening to me. And it's angry to me. So, like, I don't understand what that man went through, but he's a human being. We're all human beings. And yes, he walked away. And yes, he didn't comply. But from what I've seen the last couple of months, which has been hard, I feel like these police need to be taught. Like, we are as coaches or people that work in anything with people, de-escalation and reinforcement, emotional reinforcement. Like, you should be able to de-escalate a situation without shooting someone in the back.
That's right.
Exactly. Walking away and their children in the car. You could have tased him. I know that's not any better, but still, you shot him in the back in front of his family. There was no need for that. He had 3-4 officers. I'm pretty sure you could have got him. And I feel like now that it's come out one time, it's just like over and over and over again, and it's sickening to me. It's just, those kids have to live with that the rest of their lives and be fearful of not only their ethnicity, but of their police.
And that's right. And that's right. And like I said, you kind of have to think about the situation. Your kids were involved, and you have to think smarter these days in these situations. It stinks because the cops were wrong. There's no reason why they had to shoot him in his back 8 times. And granted, all he had to say, we don't know. We don't know if he told them that the kids were in the car or whatever, but I would not put my kids in that situation and walk towards that car and risk them being hit by a stray bullet. It's tough, and I know there's a lot of people that are upset, but you have to you gotta, in this situation, in the risk we are in right now, and the way these cops and everybody's acting on both sides, you have to think smarter. And it's sad, and it's tragic, and it's tough. It's a real tough one, and it's hard, because I'm angry. I'm angry he got shot. I'm angry he's paralyzed. But then part of me is like, damn, dude, what if you just listened and just gave him a moment to sort everything out? Just gave him that second. Would you be Would you be in this situation right now in the hospital, paralyzed for the rest of your life? That's and I fight with that. I'm going to struggle with that, and it's tough. It's tough. So I and I know a lot of people are in the chat. Christopher Turner said, "Frankly, I'm tired of hearing about how scared the cops are. They have training and they have guns." You're right, and you're right. You're right. A lot of people are going to say that. They're trained for this stuff. They shouldn't be scared. They shouldn't. Just like Shauna said, they're supposed to de-escalate. And you're right. You all are right. The officers are. They are supposed to de-escalate. But unfortunately, where we're at in this time, in the situation that we're at in this country, and why we all have to make sure we need to get out and vote, it's a tough situation right now.
And that's the thing, is we don't even know the story.
Yeah.
Was he attacked by police? Did he have trauma? Did he have any of the stuff that these police could have found out before they shot him in the back?
Yeah, Tyrone Washington said the cops never get the full details. That's right. Whenever it's a domestic, and I have friends who are cops, and they'll tell you domestics are the scariest calls to go on, because when you get to a domestic, a guy could be beating the hell out of his girlfriend. And when you get there and put them cuffs on that dude, that chick will stab you in the back just as quick. So cops will tell you it's a scary thought. It's a scary scene to deal with. So, and like I said, I'm not here to defend the cops and say they was right. They weren't. There's no reason anybody should be shot in the back when they don't have a weapon. And it's their job to de-escalate. But some of that onus is on that father who has to de-escalate his anger and his situation, and realize that he has kids in the car, 3, 5, and 8 years old. And that's all I'm saying. And I'll stand by that as a father. So moving on in the booth also. Another story that a lot of people are sharing and posting all over Facebook and attaching race to it. And look, this is part of the legal booth right here. This is why this is in the legal booth. This young black girl that you guys see pictured here in this story, she was in Minneapolis on a beach, and she was actually bathing topless. And someone told her, "Yeah, you can't bathe topless here. You got to put your top back on." So she put her top back on. About 10 minutes later, 7 police officers showed up to cite her and try to place her under arrest. And a lot of people were like, "Well, why?" And they said, "Well, your breasts were exposed. You're not supposed to have thongs." And it was a white girl there with a thong on. She says, "Well, I have a thong on. Why aren't you citing me?" So they went and tried to cite her. And while this whole thing's going on and everybody's trying to make this a black and white issue, the scary part to this story that I'm going to reveal, and I think people should realize, is that the reason why the cops showed up is because Minneapolis police utilize drones to fly over beaches and park places and all throughout the city. And they monitor what the drones see, and then they go and issue the police officer or dispatch the police officers to the scene of the crime from what they get from drones. Now, this is the first, and I told people, everybody's sharing this whole thing. I'm like, are you all reading this story? Are you all realizing this story right now? Where are our rights?
How close is that drone that I could see her titties?
It must have, look, the military, if the police department received a grant or something, it's probably Minnesota. It's the drones are pretty damn good. And the thing is that the cops were dispatched after seeing this through the drone cameras. My problem here is I feel like, whoa, wait a minute. Minneapolis police are utilizing drones to watch cities and parks and issuing tickets. And I actually reached out to Ken Diesenhoff, who's actually going to be on the show next week with R Squared. Ken Diesenhoff already told me that here in Massachusetts, that the Massachusetts State Police are already utilizing drones for surveillance. And what they get from this surveillance can be used in the court of law. So people recognize that the times are changing. This is scary. This is some scary stuff right here. This isn't drones for a park, for nudity in the park, topless. Drones issuing. It's not going to be long. I mean, people already in Massachusetts are getting tickets for running red lights because of the new cameras that they've got on the traffic lights now. If you run a red light in some states and cities and towns in Massachusetts, guess what? You can get a ticket in the mail for running red lights. You can also get tickets, and trust and believe me, because I know you can get tickets now if you have an expired inspection sticker and they catch you by camera going over the bridge. In Chelsea, the drawbridge that goes up, I actually went across that bridge. I had an expired sticker. I got the picture and the citation in the mail. So people, this is the type of stuff that's going on. Be aware. Be very, very aware. Also, in the entertainment booth, Apple is buying VR Rooms. VR Rooms is the name of the company. I was just talking about more investors getting in on stuff. This is a VR company that allows to have Zoom meetings in a virtual reality zone. And that's pretty crazy, because now not only are you having your Zoom meeting in Zoom on the internet, but it's creating a virtual reality for you to have your Zoom meeting. So you could create your meeting in anywhere you want. As you guys can see behind me, I have the McCluskeys behind me, and Mrs. McCluskey's looking at me like I'm crazy tonight. She just can't believe what I'm doing on this show in the background. But you guys, you have to make sure, follow these new inventions. If you're looking to get yourself a nice little nest egg or something, look it up. Apple's investing in this company. It's going to be a big deal. I myself, I can't wait. I like stuff like this. I get crazy for things like this, and I can't wait. I get all giddy and excited, and people love it when I get kind of giddy excited, because I'm a nerd. I hate to say this. I am such a friggin' nerd, a huge nerd, a humongous nerd.
Keith will be on an island somewhere with a drink, speaking to all of us.
Oh man! And I got Shauna on here for a topic that we're coming up on, but I got to talk about this. And being a geek, entertainment news: the new Batman trailer. Whew, man, fire! Look, all I gotta say is I'm not even gonna say anything. DC Fandom was this weekend. They unveiled the trailer. Look, I'm gonna show you guys the trailer, and I'm gonna be right back with Shauna. But here it is right now. Here is Batman 2020. Robert Pattinson from Twilight. And look, here's the thing, people. A lot of people were unhappy that they took Robert Pattinson as the new Batman, Bruce Wayne. And my thing is like, I don't have anything vested in Twilight. I never saw it. Did you see Twilight, Shauna?
I am obsessed with Twilight.
Oh, really? Do you like Robert Pattinson?
Not really. I do, but when I think Batman, I don't see him. I can't.
Okay. Well, I see you. You're watching the chat right now. You're watching this show on your other phone right now. Look, I'm going to give you guys it right now. Robert Pattinson, first look as Batman in the new Batman movie coming out 2021, and the villains are crazy. Penguin, Catwoman, and Riddler.
Is my Harley Quinn back?
No, Harley Quinn won't be in this Batman. She's coming in Suicide Squad 2. So here's the new Batman for you guys right now. Here we go.
Your secret friend. Underneath the bridge. Who? Topper sprung a leak, and the animals I trapped. Haven't a clue. All become my pet. Let's play a game, just me and you. Any of this mean anything to you?
You're becoming quite a celebrity. Why is he writing to you?
If you are justice, please do not lie. What is the price for your blind eye?
The hell are you supposed to be?
this too? How am I part of it? You'll see.
Here, all right, it's your boy Says the One. That was the Batman trailer coming out in 2021. Robert Pattinson as the Batman. Fire. Fire. Look, like I said, I'm not a Twilight fan. I'm not. What did you think?
It was so good.
A lot of people in the chat, Christopher Turner, Tyrone Washington. If you guys like that trailer, drop them thumbs up, man. That was fire, and I can't wait. I can't wait. Moving on to entertainment news, CW has announced a Powerpuff Girls live action series, and what they plan on doing is they're going to take the Powerpuff Girls and they're going to make them older, in their 20s. And what it is that they're no longer popular, they're no longer the love of the city, and they're trying to deal with the fact that they're unpopular, nobody likes them anymore. So I kind of love this concept, because Powerpuff Girls was a pretty decent cartoon. It caught everybody off guard. And I myself, I can't wait. Did you ever watch Powerpuff Girls, Shauna?
Not really. I was more of the gem and the hologram share kind of girl.
Really?
Yeah.
You really admitting that?
I watched it the other night, actually. It was fun.
All right. Next entertainment booster, and this is why I have Shauna on with me tonight. Last week, Netflix released an official trailer for a movie that is an international film that was released out in Europe, and it was made by it was a French woman. I forget her name, who directed it. And to be honest, I could care less. I wasn't really. I was more shocked when this trailer came out. The movie is called Cuties. It features a film about an 11-year-old girl, and they try to spin it as like it's this coming of age movie. Yeah. And my thing is if they were 16 years old, I'm all for it. I'm good. You know what? If they're 16, I get it. But 11-year-old girls
11 and 10
joining a twerk group, and I cringed. I cringed at the promos. I cringed at everything. The first thing I saw, I ripped it apart. I didn't want no part of it. A lot of people wanted to just cancel Netflix altogether. Netflix received so many complaints that within less than 24 hours, they changed the promo, and I have yet to see the trailer surface back. But you're on here. We're here to talk about this. And it touched on you because it actually hits home during this time of COVID. And I know Viana Marie, she has said it's movies like these that try to comb over the sexualization of young kids. And I tell people this too. I said, you know what? I've been talking about this on this show for years. I've been telling people Nickelodeon and Disney have exploited kids sexually for the longest time, and they have a little system, they have a little bulletin board that they follow. Trust and believe me, I shared it. What's her name from High School Musical? She was getting older, and she had to make that transition from tween movies to adult movies. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Like every other Disney star, oh my God, my phone got hacked, and my new photos are all over the internet.
Like Hannah Montana.
Excuse me, my new photo. Yep, Hannah Montana's another one. Oh my God, my new photos are all over the internet. And then 6 months later, she was in Spring Breakers. So it was easier for people to swallow her in that. I hate to say that. We're able to swallow her performance in that film because she had to make that transition from High School Musical and all that stuff to this movie Spring Breakers, which was ultra violent. It had a ton of sex in it. It was crazy, and it was a huge jump for her. So trust me, Disney and Nickelodeon have been doing this for so long, and it's so funny because South Park did a whole episode about it that a lot of people need to recognize. Paul Forrest
says a lot of episodes on a lot of things that have come true, and then it's scary.
Yeah, Paul Forrest says it's the normalization of pedophilia. A lot of people aren't agreeing with it. You actually have some statistics that you want to break down with us and talk about with us, and I'm going to give you your time now.
Thank you. So during COVID, I pulled out a bunch of stuff because this is like a huge thing for me. I have two young daughters. I have a 12-year-old and a 4-year-old. That this world is scary enough growing up in, but that I can't let them go in the front yard because I don't know if they're going to be gone in 30 seconds. Like, to me, that's scary. Like, I have to walk 17 blocks to store when I was little because it didn't happen. But now you can't like let your young kids out anymore. So to give a snapshot, the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children experienced a 106 increase in global reports of suspected child sexual exploitation in the upper city limits. Compared with March 2019 in India, it has been 99% in trafficking and exploitation of sexually abused children during COVID. This is just from March.
Wow, that's freaking crazy. And these are statistics coming in from worldwide.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Internet in the UK charity that identifies child sexual abuse content is also having to operate a reduced capacity and has wanted numbers of sexual abuse images and removed globally has fallen 89% during the pandemic. Capitalizing this weakness of child sexual exploitation material are becoming embedded in targeted mainstream platforms because more children are home on their computers and tablets and vulnerable.
Paul Forrest is actually in the chat. He said it's during COVID. You're right. It's easy to traffic a masked child. That is crazy. That is some unbelievable sick stuff. What's going on, Sean Williams? I see you in the chat jumping in there. Yeah, that's crazy stats, crazy statistics, scary statistics. Make sure you, man. And a lot of this stuff too starts on the internet, people. I see a lot of kids on the internet that aren't supposed to be in the kids. Kids aren't supposed to be on the internet until they're 13 legally. So when a lot of kids,
in my view, higher, but that's me.
Yep. But if you create their accounts as private, and only there's some exceptions there, but realistically, legally, children are not supposed to be on the internet until they're 13. So when you see kids with Facebook pages and things like that, their parents have lied about their age because a lot of these websites and stuff, if you put the kid's real age in, it doesn't allow them to make an account anyway. So trust and believe. I know that from just Xbox Live alone. Xbox Live and all of these gaming PlayStation Network and stuff. If you want your kid to play certain games like Call of Duty, if my stepson wants to play Call of Duty, I actually had to lie about his age and say he was 13 just so he could play Call of Duty online because they have those restrictions in place. But at the end of the day, I have to still monitor who he talks to, who he plays with. I have his account set up so I can approve every friend that he comes on. If somebody hits him up, I'll say, "Who's that?" "Oh, that's so-and-so from school." "Got you." "Okay. I'll let that friend through." And it was the same with my boys when they were younger. You just have to be a good parent. Felicia Damon, she said, as a mother of children, I'm so scared everywhere I go, even the toys I buy. You have to be careful. You're correct. Tyrone Washington said, I'm sure they could also find ish like this if they could find some ish on the beach. Yeah. Tyrone, yo. Tyrone Washington, first time listening to the show, watching the show. One of the best points out there. You're going to waste all this money and time on drones
to see some titties
and go and ticket this girl for being topless at the beach, but we can't utilize drones to track down missing children. Real talk right there, Tyrone. That's a good point right there. Point of the night right there.
Like, women are very sexualized anyways, well, some of us are, but, like, I remember, like, buying my daughter clothes and being so excited to, like, go online and buy her clothes, and she's 4. And some of the outfits, I was like, who buys their child these clothes? Like, little, just, like, bandana tops and, like, little Daisy Duke shorts and, like, little off the shoulder things. And I'm like, sure. Like, why would you ever? And then it's like going back to John Benet Ramsey. It's like, it's just, our culture is very over sexualized.
Yeah, and it's funny because I had, for a little bit of time there, I had stepdaughters, and I used to have to go and buy them clothes, and I used to cringe. Like I used to go in the Mad Rag because Mad Rag everything's $5, and you go in the Mad Rag, and it's everything sexual. It's like crop tops with the midriff showing, and it's like they're going to high school, not a strip club, not a nightclub. They're going to school. You go to Walmart, it's the same tough thing, and as a stepdad of girls for a little while, it was tough. It was hard, and
look at Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Like Harley Quinn, like little Daisy Duke shorts for like 10-year-olds. I'm like I wouldn't even wear those as an adult, but seeing like 6, 7 little girls running around in like shorts that barely cover them and a top and all that makeup, and I'm like we're making these children grow up way too fast.
And that was the thing too, that when that Harley Quinn character came out from Suicide Squad, oh my God, I cringed. I couldn't believe how many parents allowed their daughters to dress up in the little daddy's little girl outfit and thought, at that time, I had a stepdaughter at that time, and she went as Rey from Star Wars, covered from head to toe, had a little lightsaber and stuff. I was happy. Yep, that's good. You like this character? We good about that. We're going to put you in this costume. I'm going to make you a lightsaber. That's what I like to see. I'm going to make you a lightsaber. Rey was a much better dressed character, but it was tough because you see so many parents allowed their daughters at a young age to be that character, that character, and it's crazy.
It's not only that, because it's like now they get older and they're like my older daughter's age, 12, 13, 14. I won't let you even wear a skirt with those shorts underneath it. Like, I have to wear crop tops. And then they go out with their friends who are in these like little triangle tops because their parents let them. And they're like, why doesn't my mom let me wear triangle tops? I'm not cool.
And now you're the bad parent because you're not letting your daughter or child wear these type of things. I trust me, I went through this. Trust me, I had a stepdaughter. She attended West Junior High, and at that time she was going through the change. She was going through a lot of changes, and she couldn't wear those. At that time, it was all yoga pants. All the girls were going to school wearing yoga pants, and she didn't like it because she didn't like how her body was. So she went to school wearing a lot of sweatpants. And when we went to school, and I dropped her off, I was cringing at some of these things that parents were allowing their daughters to wear to middle school. And I said, isn't there some type of code of conduct or something, or some type of dress code? I know there is in Brockton. And she said, yeah, but
remember when your shorts used to have to reach the bottom of your fingertips? That was a thing for us.
Yes, yeah, and it's still that is still there. When my stepdaughter at that time, when she had to go to her semi-formal, she was tall, and her dress was considered too short, but she was tall, and the bosom had to be covered up at the semi-formal. So the schools are doing a good job. Again, it's what the parents allow, and to be honest, if the parents are going to buy all that crap for their kids, the stores and the fashion designers are going to put that crap out there, and you have to go looking and hunting everywhere for something that's decent for your child to wear.
Whole body.
Felicia Damon said they had skimpy clothes for a 7-year-old in children's place. Wow.
Yeah.
That used to be my fallback.
Yeah. No. Everything is like crop tops and little shirts. And like I said, my daughter, even the 4-year-old, even the 12-year-old, shorts under skirts, like no showing like skin. Like she wears like tank tops and not taking any, but we're not going out like naked or like showing, because I know I've lived in this world through my world of sex exploitation and just the job I see, and I know it's out there.
Right. Okay.
I know it's real. Like there's no covering this up. Like we need to be aware of our children.
I'm watching the chat. Paul Forrest said, "Bring back the Sears catalog." Hell yeah!
Gotta get the sweaters on.
Hell yeah! Look, the Sears catalog back in the day. You go in that, and it was right to the Garanimals section. The zebra pants with the zebra shirt, the monkey shirt with the monkey pants, the lion shirt with the lion pants. Garanimals made it simple and easy.
They still have Garanimals at Walmart. My aunt buys
Yes,
them
they do. Garanimals are after all these years, Garanimals are still around, and I love it. I love it. I'm like real happy with the Garanimals. But if you brought that stuff home to your kids now, it's crazy stuff. So, Sharda, we're coming up on the end of the interview with you.
Thank you.
And but I know you're involved with a lot of other things other than the topic you came on. So before we let you go, I want you to talk about it. Usually this time of year, usually Holbrook Cares puts on an event for overdose awareness, but because of COVID-19, last year Vianna Marie actually performed and sang at the Holbrook Cares event. What are you guys doing? What is MOAR doing right now under COVID-19 as far as bringing awareness and holding down events and put all that information out there so people know, and drop it in the chat when you get a chance?
So it's sad that we can't do it. I understand it. We have still put in pictures and ribbons out on the square where we spoke. The video was made and the pictures were redone and put on our Holbrook page. August 31st is Overdose Awareness. September 23rd, we will be having a Recovery Day awareness for MOAR, and that will be on Zoom and online. So I know it's hard because it's so much better in person. It's so much more positive.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to keep all the lines of communication even for that, because overdoses have gone up a lot since COVID.
Since COVID? Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go a little bit. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit over tonight because I think this is an important topic to talk about real quick before I get into my other stuff. I'm going to just go over a little bit longer with you. I just want to keep you on real quick on this one. So you're saying that the overdose numbers have taken a rise since COVID. Do we have an idea as to why? Is it because people aren't getting to their methadone clinics as they should, or?
Well, no, methadone clinics are giving you take-homes, but now they're starting to open back up. But in the beginning of this, if you're homeless, you're homeless. They have the big uptake in the Brockton shelter that's sending everybody more homeless, which causes them to use treatment beds, any treatment beds or halfway houses, CSSs, TSSs. We're not taking new people.
Oh, wow.
Because of COVID. So people were limited on beds anyways, but then they're definitely limited. And then like some of the beds, because of funding from COVID, like Good Sam had 36 beds for NORCAP and a couple of other places, and they took the funding away and now have 24.
Oh, that's tough.
So
that is, yeah.
It's like fighting one demon with the other, and it's hard with the homeless population because they can't wash their masks. They can't get the help they need, or the hygiene, or the meds, or even though they're sick, or separate because they're all living together to stay safe. So it's like, I feel more resources need to come out, and that's what we're trying to work on with the Hope Center, and Stairway should be opening up back up soon if the numbers go down. They're like 8.5% in Brockton now. So,
well, if you can, at the end of this interview, if you can, we have a live chat right now. If you can drop some links to MOAR and drop some links for those who are watching, if they have a family member or someone that needs that help, or someone that could utilize maybe going out and handing out clean masks. I know I drive through Molina Cass and I got to go through Methadone Mile, and it's a mess. And I thought about it. I'm like, man, it's
Narcan's huge too.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So if you can, please drop all that info in the chat, in the live chat, so anybody there can utilize it. Anybody who watches this podcast, that information is there. Is there any websites or any social media that you want to drop for MOAR before you get out of here?
No, we're just the MOAR I can share it all in the chat.
Yes.
And stay away and everything. But thank you for having me on.
No, I actually Felicia Damon, who's in the chat, she does a lot of stuff for the community. She's a community activist. She said if she could be any help, she would. So please link up with her, drop in the chat, check her out. And I want to thank you, Shauna, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Keith.
All right, take care. All right, cool. We're back in here, and I'm actually going to close out my Zoom box here. Boom. And now we're going to go back here. Boom. And I'm going to bring up my next story. Again, thank you, Shauna, for coming on the show with me and talking about the Cuties. And we got a little bit of extra information from her. I forgot that she was involved with MOAR, the recovery organization. That was actually pretty good information I wanted to get out, so I'm going to go a little bit over tonight. Continuing on with Brockton news, we're going to go into entertainment booth. Going to close it out with Vianna Marie is actually performing Saturday night at the Vero G Spotlight concert. That's going to begin at 8 o'clock, I believe. It's 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. If you want to come down and check it out, you want to get online, check it out. And if you see these down here in the bottom corner here, that's PayPal, Venmo, artists supporting artists. If you want to support Vianna Marie's performance and stuff, you want to just drop her $5, $10, whatever. Every little bit helps, because right now artists are not performing across the country. It's a tough one. So you want to make sure you drop in and check out her performance. I believe she's doing 3 songs on Saturday night. So you want to tune in at 8 o'clock and make sure you check out Vianna Marie performing live for the Vero G Spotlight TV online concert. Heading into the sports booth here in Boston. Man, Boston sports booth. Let me get my paper turned over here, and I want to thank everybody for hanging on with this show for me tonight. Bruins are entering Game 2. Game has just started against Tampa Bay. Hollick's amazing performance. I actually had Maddie C on the show with me last week, and Maddie C and me, we actually broke it down. We talked about the fact of Tuukka Rask just getting up and just retiring and leaving the team. And one of the points that me and Maddie C broke down was that you're in the Stanley Cup playoffs and you're heading into a game with a new goalie, a goalie that nobody knows. Your opponents don't know what he's like and how he plays. And we felt that Hollick coming in was going to be a threat to this Stanley Cup playoffs. And guess what? Lights out. Hollick has been lights out since he took over for Tuukka Rask. So tonight, let's see if is it a fluke or is Hollick for real? We got to take that and see what's going on. Celtics swept the 76ers. They'll take on the Toronto Raptors. I think that series begins tomorrow night. I'm not sure. But also, speaking of Toronto, the Red Sox are playing the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Red Sox have decided that they want to win some games. The Red Sox have been down and out. They haven't done crap all season. And now they want to win some games. All right, go ahead. You can. Season's over, though. And MLB really screwed it up. Like I said, the MLB should have one stadium on the East Coast, one in the West. This is part of the problem why we have what we have here. Patriots have done training camp. They have now brought in back-end kicker Nick Folk, who wasn't really bad for the Patriots last year. Nick Folk was not that bad at all. But he had an injury, and it was tough. But they brought him back in for this season. Let's see what happens. Breaking news. This was yesterday. The Baltimore Ravens released safety Earl Thomas after he had a fight in camp. Look, 2 things stuck out here for me. The Ravens, they got to, look, Lamar Jackson's got to be signed. Ka-ching. 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 You got to make cap room somewhere. Earl Thomas, you got to go. You're going to get in a fight. You're going to hit somebody with your helmet or throw your helmet on the ground. Whatever happened, I don't care what happened. But we need cap room. You got to go. I wouldn't mind seeing Earl Thomas come here as safety. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. The rumor is that he's probably going to end up in Dallas playing for the Cowboys. Or he may end up playing for the Houston Texans. So, Shauna Crawford actually is dropping all the stuff in the chat. Thank you, Shauna, for doing that for me and getting this in. Heading into Trump troubles, as I said, I got a typo in there. Didn't even realize it. Trump troubles. Hopefully, President Trump doesn't get any ideas from his boy, and I get everybody out there. They're talking about Clintons and stuff. But Alexei Navalny, in 2018, he was very vocal. He's a Russian activist, and he has been a thorn in Vladimir Putin's side. A major, major, major thorn in his side, and all of a sudden he ended up poisoned, and they actually took him to a hospital in Russia. They didn't feel comfortable with his safety. I think they moved him to Switzerland, or they moved him somewhere, and he's being treated still, and it has been confirmed that Alexei was poisoned. Do we know who it is or what? Nope, but I'm pretty sure Teflon Don Vladimir Putin is holding it down. So, man. Also, Q John Mellencamp, the walls come tumbling down. Steve Bannon last week was arrested on fraud charges for taking money that was meant for the wall, and they were pocketing it. Remember this, people. Steve Bannon, he was one of Trump's closest people. And all these people that are close to Trump, that are getting arrested and all this stuff, and all these people turn around, well, he didn't need them. He's not connected to them. Look, I don't get it, people. Both sides got dirt. And this is a tough election. But I'm just letting you all know right now, this is crazy stuff going on right now. It's so crazy that the Trump campaign actually, they started releasing their smear videos on the internet. And the smear video that they released against Joe Biden, actually, it hit. I'm not going to lie, it hit. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to show you guys something real quick. I'm going to show you this little Donald Trump. Actually, it's endorsed by Donald Trump. It's from his campaign. This is the ad that they put out for Joe Biden. I want you guys to check this out. Here we go.
Unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
My Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this. I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black. And other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind.
They're gonna put you all back in chains.
The first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and nice-looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputation of two United States senators who built their reputation and career on the segregation of race in this country. Are you going to apologize like Cory Booker has?
Apologize for what? For what?
Sorry about that. I had my mic muted. Thank you, Tyrone. What's going on? Sorry about that. That was a very powerful ad. That was put out by Donald Trump's campaign. And if you think Biden wasn't scared by the video, he was. You want to know why? Because Biden came out this week and he got on TV and he pretty much apologized for the "You Ain't Black" comment that he made on Charlamagne the God show, which is the Breakfast Club. Again, when this all happened, everybody jumped on Joe Biden and said he was racist and all that. He wasn't racist. That situation, he wasn't racist. He went on a show that caters to blacks. He was pandering to blacks. He went on the show and he tried to fit in. And when he tried to fit in, he failed miserably. It goes all the way back to that skit, when keeping it real goes wrong. That's what happened to Joe Biden. When keeping it real goes wrong. And by him releasing this comment this week and apologizing lets me know that ad that was released by Donald Trump on Sunday spoke volumes. It got in his ass. It scared him. So talking about messages being sent, also people, this past weekend, look at this picture right here. What does this message really send? And I had a lot of people on my Facebook page. They was coming at me hard. Paul Forrest says he can't apologize for his true colors. True. You can kind of say that. Rich old white man. A lot of people came at me. And look, I understand that there's a lot of people out there, middle class, who own boats. I get it. Don't come at me when I posted this and talk about, well, Keith, some people got... I have a good friend. I have a good guy. Kevin McDonald. He's a UFC referee. And Kevin actually apologized. I got to give him props. He hit me up in my message, and he actually deleted his post. And at first he accused me of calling out white people. And then when I said, hey, read my post, man, I'm calling out elitists. I'm not calling out white people. And I give him props. Kevin, man, you're the man for stepping up and apologizing. I wish I could say that for some of you guys who are on my Facebook page and trying to make me look bad or whatever. But the message here being sent is that we've been having these parades all over America every weekend, these Trump boat parades. And it's been such a big deal that Comedy Central and the Trevor Noah Show actually did a skit on this where they went out to one of these boat parades. And my problem has been is when you're trying to appeal to everyone during your campaign, Trump boat parades is not really, in my opinion, pandering to everyone. It's not, because we've been programmed that owning a boat is one of the trophies of financial success. Exotic cars, crazy stuff. Granted, look, trust me, and I know, growing up, my dad worked a good job. We had every game system when it came out, and I remember, trust and believe me, it was way back. Not everybody had video games. We had the Atari 2600 in our house, and people thought we were rich. People thought we were elitists because a lot of people didn't have Atari 2600. Only certain people had. The only reason why we had Atari 2600 is because my grandmother and my grandfather was military, and my grandmother bought everything out the Sears catalog. So when the Atari 2600 hit, my grandmother bought us the Atari 2600 from the Sears catalog. It was a ton of money, but we had it growing up. We weren't elitists, but it was one of them things that people saw you with, and they thought, damn, you doing good. I remember when if you had a pool, you were considered an elitist. Now mostly everybody got a pool now. But again, everybody who came at me about the boat thing, I'm not stupid. I'm not an idiot. I know that there's middle class people who own boats. What I'm trying to say is, and Paul Forrest, you hit it. You've been paying attention to this show. It's about the have and the have-nots. And this is about the haves having a parade to support their guy and kind of rubbing it in the face of the have-nots. And that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to say anybody's this or that. And as you see, it's hashtag the rich get richer. And I hate to say this, but both politicians at the top level, Democrats and Republicans, the rich continue to get richer. It just depends how they do it. The Democrats get richer by thinking that they're making us feel better about ourselves by giving us handouts. See, this is where it is. The Democrats do things one way, Republicans do it another way. Democrats, like I said, I'm gonna break it down for you. Democrats get richer by giving us handouts. And while giving us handouts, they make it up on the back end so they get richer. That's how Democrats do it. Here you go. We're going to give this to you. Oh, yeah, we're going to give this to you. Oh, yeah, we're going to give you this for this. But on the back end, they're collecting off the success of what they're giving you. Republicans are different. Republicans do shit behind the scenes. They don't give you nothing up front. They take everything from behind the scenes. And then when you get your taxes or whatever, or you get your paycheck, boom. Pay attention. I've been involved in politics for a long time, people. So when you come at me with some of this stuff, you better recognize I'm coming with it. I'm coming with it. You know? And that Paul Forrest, see, there's that Sears catalog again. Yep, there you go. Tyrone Washington said it's been that way for the longest. It has. It has. Moving on. Trump troubles. This happens so much, I want to blame his team, but I can't. Trump went out and talked about the mailboxes not being COVID sanitized, the mail drop boxes. Again, these are dangerous comments, yo. You can't make comments like these during an election time. You can't, and this is why he's getting in so much trouble. This is the type of stuff, a lot of people are backing him and saying, it's not that big of a deal. Yes, it is. He's scaring people into not voting and casting their ballot and vote by mail. You can't say that as president. And people need to realize this. This is a big issue, man. You can't say that stuff as a president. You can't. It's manipulation. So, again, pay attention, people. I've been bringing this point up too. The Democratic Convention was last week, and at the Democratic Convention, they had 12 Republicans who spoke on behalf of President Trump not getting reelected. They were endorsing and backing Joe Biden. And I know a lot of people, all of a sudden, I see Skip Clay. Yep, exactly right, Tyrone. Democrats, yep, exactly right. Skip Clay, I see you in the chat. I hope you're watching right now. And one of the things that we're talking about, you know, all of a sudden, these Republicans who are going against Donald Trump and backing Joe Biden, they're calling them rhinos. Some of them, a couple of them are rhinos, but not all of them are rhinos. Not all of them are rhinos. Nope. And some of these Republicans that spoke, Jeff Flake come out, Arizona, he don't like Trump. He don't like Trump at all. But he was very vocal about the fact that he's endorsing Joe Biden. Fiona Marie actually shared it in a watch party. And his words, Jeff Flake's words were powerful. Powerful. You know, and he's lost hope in his party. And he was right. Some of the stuff he was saying. Because let's real talk here. Let's real talk. Because when Donald Trump was running for president, Donald Trump was a rhino. For all y'all who think you know everything about politics, you don't know. Donald Trump was a rhino. One of the reasons why the Republicans did not want to give him the nomination is because they were concerned with the fact that Donald Trump was going to be too Democratic. That is what a rhino is. A rhino is a Republican, but they make moves like a Democrat, which is what the Republican Party was calling Donald Trump out for being when he ran his campaign in 2016, people. Now, all of a sudden, all these Republicans who are against them are rhinos and Donald Trump's not a rhino? Do y'all see how stupid that shit sounds? That shit sounds stupid. Moving on. As I said, the DNC has come out and the Republican National Convention has started this week, and they ain't have much. So Trump troubles. I've been sharing ads from the Lincoln Project. I've been telling people this position has to be tough. But Kelly Conway, one of Trump's closest advisors, cue the Oompa Loompa music again, Kelly Conway has stepped down from her job. But not only has Kelly Conway stepped down from her job, at just hours before the biggest stage of the Republican National Convention, her husband, also George Conway, he stepped down from his position on the Lincoln Project. And I've been sharing the Lincoln Project's videos. They've had some damaging videos. This was a whole group of Republicans who can't stand Donald Trump, and they got a ton of money, and they have been taking it to Donald Trump every day, video after video after video after video. Some of these videos that I've shared before this show have come from the Lincoln Project. And the funny thing is people are like, oh, Keith, you're sharing all this stuff. It's all so Democratic. No, dumbass. This is from Republicans. This has nothing to do with the Democrats. And I've told people when he got elected, watch out. Keep your enemies close. Keep your friends closer. The Republicans can't stand him. And now we're seeing this. We are seeing this. So Kellyanne Conway is done. All done. She's concentrating on her family first and foremost. I'm pretty sure her and George Conway's marriage is strained. It has to be. And right now, the two of them have decided family first. Their daughter is actually on TikTok. I forget what their daughter's name is. She was on TikTok, and she was applauding at the fact that her parents have both stepped away from politics. And I think that's great. I think we as Americans should really look at this. Look at this. Just take a look. Let's stop and just take a look at this real quick. Kellyanne Conway was one of Donald Trump's closest advisors. George Conway was a bitter enemy of Donald Trump, and he was making his life miserable. Tweet for tweet. Tweet for tweet. So think about this for a second. You got to go home every day to your husband, or you got to go home every day to your wife and try to eat dinner with your kids, while your wife spends every day working for the man that you hate the most. Hate the most. And her as a wife, she has to sit there across from her husband who she loves, who she cares, who she respects, knowing that he hates every moment of her going to work with a person she hates, and has to sit there and defend this guy time after. I applaud them. I know I've said some junk about Kellyanne Conway on this show, but I applaud her right now. I applaud her. I applaud George saying, look, we're done with politics. We're focusing on family. We're done. We're good. We're all set. We don't need this no more. And I'm happy to say that. So hey, as we get ready to head out the show, it's 8:17. I'm not gonna go to 8:30. Because I gotta show you guys a little clip here. This is really funny. So transition here. I don't know if you guys know who this guy is. I know who he is. I know if you in politics or follow politics, you know who the hell this guy is right here. This is Richard Spenser. And Richard Spenser is the MAGA alt-right guy who was the head of. So back when they were having all these rallies across the country after Trump got in, remember they were having all these white rallies, and they were going to state and stuff. Remember Charlottesville, Virginia, when the white men all had their survivor torches, and they went to Charlottesville, and all these white guys went down there, and 10% of them lost their jobs because people saw them on social media and sent pictures of their jobs, said they're racist. This is the guy, Richard Spenser. He is the guy who was going around the country, white supremacist, all this junk, and he has now decided he's going to flip the script, and he's backing and endorsing Joe Biden. Think about that again. Look, this is 2020 in an effing nutshell right now. When you thought 2020 couldn't get any crazier with any type of story, this is crazy right here. Richard Spenser, a known white supremacist. He was a MAGA guy wearing the MAGA hat. He was going on tour the colleges left and right. He was doing his freedom of speech, practicing and promoting hate. And he has now decided that he is backing Joe Biden. Now, part of me was like, damn, what? He's backing Joe Biden. What's that say about Joe Biden? Because this dude's backing him. Y'all better be careful. But Joe Biden immediately came out today Joe Biden wanted no part of this. Joe Biden denounced him. Joe Biden says, I'm not taking any type of endorsement from you, buddy. None whatsoever. But I want to let y'all know right here, right now, here on the booth, if you're listening and watching this show, I have the exclusive parody audio video of Richard Spenser in his endorsement of Joe Biden. Exclusive parody audio. Here it is.
I came here tonight and I didn't know what to expect. I seen a lot of people hating me and I didn't know what to feel about that, so I guess I didn't like you much, none either. During this fight, I seen a lot of changing. The way you felt about me and the way I felt about you. So what I'm trying to say is that if I can change, and you can change, everybody can change.
That was alt-right Richard Spenser. Yeah, your boy produced that one. I wanted. Oh, and the thing is, only certain film buffs will get it. Someone who don't know that movie and never seen that movie, they're probably like, "Damn, he got real emotional. He got real upset." So I actually shared that. That's for you guys. I love you guys, man. Look, when I produce stuff and put stuff together, I think about everybody who watches this show. The Paul Forrests, hopefully now the Tyrone Washingtons, the Vianna Maries, Johnny Dolan, all you guys who come and watch this show and support this show. When I put stuff together, man, trust me, I pull it from the heart. I put this stuff together for you guys as a laugh, man. I want to make you guys laugh and be able to sit here with me for this hour and knock it down, because I love doing this show and it's great stuff. And you know what? I just put that together and I knew you guys would get a kick out of that. But good stuff. Before we get out of here, I've got to talk about everybody. You got to be safe. I live here in the city of Brockton, and here in the city of Brockton, we are a red zone. We've been deemed a red zone for COVID-19. And one of the reasons why we've been deemed a red zone is because people aren't paying attention. People are throwing parties. We talked about this with Michelle Dubois. People are throwing parties, still having parties. The mayor put the curfew back into place on the weekends from 11 to 5. And still people are throwing parties and they don't care. They don't give a F about stuff. And part of the reason why we haven't been able to come out of this lockdown and stuff like that is because people are still doing these things that they really shouldn't be doing. And people need to really think and pay attention as to how we progress and deal with this. Look, Sturgis had a big motorcycle rally, humongous motorcycle rally. And I'm just going to tell people how dangerous this really is right now. Sturgis had, I want to say, over 400,000 people landed in Sturgis on motorcycles for the motorcycle rally for the last 2 weeks. That rally ended last weekend. Most of those people, guess what, people? A good percentage of those people got on the road, and guess where they headed? Right up to New Hampshire, where they postponed Laconia weekend, which usually takes place in June, was postponed to this past week. So all this week is Laconia Motorcycle Week. So a lot of those people who went to Sturgis and got on their motorcycles and now went back to whatever state they came from, a good percentage of those people are now in New Hampshire at Sturgis, from Sturgis in New Hampshire at Laconia. And the reason why I say this is because I have someone that comes to our job that we work with, and this person was struck by COVID and almost lost his life. We've had some people who've lost their lives where we work. But we have a person that everybody knows and likes, and this person was out of work for almost close to 4 months. Actually stopped by the garage and visited, and is not the same. Doesn't even know if they're going to be back to work. It's got nerve damage in his fingers. He's lost about 40, 50 pounds. His breathing is not normal due to the damage that was caused by the ventilator. So when these numbers, again, a lot of people were already saying, well, you know, Sturgis, this, that, and this. Look, we're not going to know. 2-week incubation period, people. So everybody who was at Sturgis that was all hanging out with each other and doing whatever at the motorcycle rally in Sturgis, you're not going to show up positive until 2 weeks later. And here we are, 2 weeks later, some of those people are in New Hampshire at Laconia, or some of those people are back at the state that they came from. And COVID is very, very real, people. This isn't some created fake thing. COVID is very real. And in 2 weeks, a lot of these people that might be non-symptomatic carriers are going to spread this to other people who don't deserve it. And it's just a scary thing. So I need people to jump on this and just realize something. It's not about your birthday party for your 5-year-old or 6-year-old kid. I get it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to miss out on things, but is it worth it? Is all I'm saying. Is it worth it? So before we get out of here and head out of here, I want to thank everybody for checking out the show. Listen to us. I want you guys to check out Oscar Mike Radio on Thursday nights with my man. He's holding it down and doing great stuff. Travis Partington. Maddie C, Sports for You and Me podcast. Check out Maddie Cameron. You want to check out Vianna Marie's music on iTunes, Spotify. She's all over. Just if you got an Alexa, say, Alexa, play Vianna Marie, and the music will come on. You want to Google her, Google Vianna Marie. She's got merchandise for sale. She's doing it all. So get it done. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show tonight, hanging out with me tonight. And you know what I got to say here is, SpongeBob, I'm feeling really good. But, SpongeBob, you can take me home.
Well, see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine with your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I made it, this don't repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, and y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak ass hoes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, cause I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything, I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Hoobazoo.com. WHOOBAZOO.com.